So guys, in this video we're going to be looking at A-Mini-Miga, which is a pre-set up workbench for your A500 Mini. It includes lots of packages such as Deluxe Paint, Directory Opus 4. You can even play games such as Doom, Hexic and Nukem, and Wolfenstein 3D, which is pretty cool. So we're going to have a look at this in this video now and all the things that you can actually do with it. Let's go. Okay guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. So A-Mini-Miga, it's basically a package that's been put together and you can download it for free and it's on this site AMiNIMiga.com and you basically need to download this to a 32 gig ideally USB stick. I would recommend a SanDisk glider. That's the one that works best for me. And everything that you need will be on this package, which includes all your WHDload games. There's loads of demos. There's all sorts of utility packages. There's lots of things that you probably would take you forever to actually download yourself. Now, word of warning, it does take a while to actually set this up. It's not a 5-minute job. It's quick enough to download the package from here, but to actually transfer it onto USB stick, it took me a few hours to actually do. So word of warning, it's not quick. It does take its time, and it's not the most... it's a little bit sluggish to actually use sometimes, but once you're up and running, it's actually really good. Just have a bit of patience to actually get started. So let's have a quick look at it before we actually see it in action. So this is the main screen that you would normally see, and it includes lots of different packages, all in the one place, which is fantastic because it really saves a lot of effort trying to download this yourself. And you can even play games such as Doom, Duke Nukem, Heretic, Wolfenstein 3D, which is newly ported Amiga games, which is absolutely fantastic. There's a few different game launchers if you want to use them. Okay, so this is really just goes through how to actually do this. I'm not going to really go through this in depth in this video. It's pretty straightforward. This site shows you how exactly to do this, and there's a few videos out there that will help you as well. So basically, obviously, you only need a A500 Mini, a USB stick, pretty much like the one there. Has to be 32 gig because it's a large package that you're going to be downloading. And there's instructions here on how to do it. Once you've downloaded it, that's how it should look. Make sure it's formatted to FAT32. And that's pretty much it. Once you've done that, it does take a few hours to do it, but it's really straightforward. Once you've downloaded this, just drop this onto a USB stick that's been formatted to FAT32, and that's it. Then you're pretty much good to go. And as it says here, do not try and access the settings before you actually touch A-Mini-Miga, because it will completely cock it all up, and you'll have to go through this process all over again. So just as a little tip here, guys, in the links section here for the downloads, there's lots of links. Basically, they're all the same. It's just different options to actually download them. It depends what suits yourself. I actually just chose the last one, which is the one right at the bottom here, and that was fine for me. The rest of some of them you need accounts for, like a Mega account, for example. But the last one was fine for me. It didn't take too long to download. That isn't the main problem. The main issue is probably when you try to download or copy the files onto a USB stick. It does take a few hours, and it did for me. I'm not sure if that will be the same for everyone, but it did take a good few hours to actually copy, and actually trying to access the file itself, it took a little while. So I don't have the fastest laptop, but I don't have the slowest laptop either. But if you're doing this, just have a little bit of patience. Anyway, let's boot this onto the A500 Mini and we'll go through it and see what it's like. So guys, once you've sorted out your USB stick, just go to the USB logo, and this is pretty much how it will look. And again, don't go into the settings for these files here. There's obviously an option for 2-player, WHDL optimized. I'll go into that later in the video. Basically, it's supposed to help with WHDload games and make them easier to play. But you can't actually access any of the games here, or many of them. For example, if you get into the hard folders, you actually try and play the games from here, you can't actually access them for some reason, so you have to actually do that through Workbench and through the A-Mini-Miga thing here. So press A to actually select it, and then press the home button to get started. And just give it a little moment or two. It takes maybe a few seconds to actually load the workbench facility. Now this is where you need to probably attach a keyboard and a mouse at the same time, ideally, because without them it's really going to be a complete pain. Obviously initially you'll only need the mouse for this sort of section that you see here, which is obviously the workbench. And it's all set up. You've got all your system demos, WHDload games. You've got your different options down the side here. And we'll have a look at the system first. So you actually double click on your mouse to select. Then you get all access to all these different applications. You can obviously go into the graphics. You can go and do some drawings with Deluxe Paint, which is pretty cool. It's been a long time since I've done that. So basically just double click it to get started. And then you're good to go. You can just make some drawings. Don't know what I'm doing here. Almost looked like something rude I was going for. But yeah, you can basically just do whatever you like here. And make some drawings or whatever. But yeah, that's basically it. Also, there's various other things you can use here, but I'm not going to go through them all. It's going to be far too time consuming. But there's a lot of different utilities. There's also in here you can access your storage expansion. There's games in here. This is where your sort of newer games like Doom, Duke Nukem. We're going to maybe have a quick look at Doom, for example. Oh, also there's emulators in here. Now not all of them actually work. You can play Commodore 64 games, NES, but I don't think they all actually work. I couldn't actually get them all to work. For example, if you look, sort of try the SNES and try and execute it, it doesn't actually work. And the same with the NES one. I got some of the Commodore 64 games to actually work. So, for instance, playing sort of Boulder Dash, for example. Some of the games do run a little bit too quickly, so it really need to change some of the settings to suit there. But yeah, it seems to work pretty fine. So it basically just kicks into Commodore 64, and you can basically just get started and press A to start. Pretty cool. Assuming you could probably access this and drop your own sort of games into it, but I thought the emulation was a little bit iffy. It does need a little bit of work done to it. And there's the different game launchers are in here too. Got them down the side here as well. You've got iGame, Tiny Launcher. It's really up to you. You want to go through that or just go the long way. Up to you. You've got Doom, which we're going to have a look at now. So to start Doom, you really just double click Doom, and it'll go through the run. And here we go. And impressively, the joypad works with this quite well. It's a really decent version. It looks an awful lot like the DOS version to me. See, pretty good. So yeah, if you want to open doors, you need to press the space bar. But yeah, pretty good. I mean, there's very little slowdown as far as I could see. It runs really well, which is pretty impressive. We'll maybe jump into Heretic just to show you what it's like. It's pretty much like Doom. The loading's pretty quick as well, which is quite impressive. I use a mixture of the keyboard and sort of mouse. Pretty tricky to control right enough. I'm sort of using the sort of arrows to... I'm not very good at it. Oh, I died already. Anyway, guys, just sort of running this for the purpose of showing how it works. And that's us back to the workbench screen again. So there's various options down the side here. You can obviously play the Eagle player and play different tunes and stuff. Pretty cool. That is pretty cool, to be honest. There's a lot of packages in here. It's going to be very difficult to cover everything in the video. All I can say is, if you want a different alternative to what you've got currently, it's highly recommended. It seems to play quite well. There's a lot within this package. It is huge once you've downloaded it. It's about 26 gig or so. But there's a lot here. If we're going to sort of the games, pretty much every WHD download game is here. Obviously, it's a little bit sluggish. It's probably ideally you'd rather be doing this through the main A500 Mini interface, but it's an option if you want to do it. You still suffer the same issues with some games running too fast. For example, just give an example, even though all the games are here, they still suffer from running too fast. I think it's just how the games are actually set up. I'll show you a game, for example, Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja. We'll start that. This is even worse than the standard game on A500 Mini. Now you can fix this. You can obviously go into the back end by pressing F12, and you get access to the AMiBerry settings. For example, and you can go through here and try and set the CPU to the correct sort of speeds to suit the game. You can see it's set to the fastest, so that's not ideal for a lot of these games. So there is another option here called the A-Mini-Miga WHDL Optimized. Now this just helps with some of these games that are running too fast, but it's still not perfect. Okay guys, this is the optimized version, which is obviously just for these games. If we go back into the Bad Dudes, it does help a little bit, but it's still running far too quickly. It's running a little bit better, but this is pretty much how it runs normally on the A500 Mini, and it's still a little bit too fast, unfortunately. A little bit too fast, it's much too fast. Better than what it was, but it's still too quickly. So there's still a lot of work needs done to slow these games down. They're still running the wrong sort of speeds within the sort of emulation. So if you go into the AMiBerry, you can see it's still running the wrong sort of settings. Ideally, you want to be changing this further down to maybe 7 MHz and slowing it completely down. And give that a try and sort of resume the game. You can sort of make changes within here and resume the game, or reset, sorry. So this is the game running now with the slower speed, and it's definitely a lot better than what it was. This definitely seems more normal to me. So obviously the option is there to jump into the AMiBerry backend and sort of make your changes to slow these games down and get them to the correct settings. So that's definitely a bonus that you can actually do that fairly easily, I guess. See up the top we've got some workbench games, and there's various games that basically just run in a window here. You can actually use the D-pad to actually control this, which is pretty cool. So it's kind of nice touch. There's plenty here. Now, guys, it really depends what you want to do with your A500 Mini. This is really nice. It's a different change to what we've got as standard. It's difficult to see what we're going to get with a firmware update, which is hopefully coming within the next week or so. But as an alternative right now, this is actually pretty cool. There's everything you possibly need in your Amiga package here. If you're just starting out, this is probably a good place to actually start. If you've got the patience that is to actually put up with it does take a long time to actually download, definitely a few hours, so you need to have a little bit of patience with that. Now guys, this package is pretty overwhelming at times. There's so much here to actually show. You get a lot in this package. If you are going to do this, I would recommend definitely doing a donation to the site, because absolutely fantastic. There's loads of demos. A lot of the demos seem to be a lot of sort of music based stuff. Not entirely sure what half the things are, but it's still pretty cool nonetheless. Not exactly sure what half the things are here. We've got some beta games, I guess, that's not full games, or some special games. Not entirely sure. Pretty cool. Adipaya Abedaya Special Edition. Let's have a look at that, eh? pretty cool. If you've never played this game before, it's really cool. Not sure what the difference is in the special edition, but it looks really nice at least. Oh, so guys, obviously if you want to find the game quicker, you can use the actual game launchers themselves. There's one down the bottom here. It's called iGame Patched. Oops. And if you want to search for a game, you've got a search function up the top. It says here at the bottom there's 3,000 games actually included, which is absolutely crazy. So it seems like pretty much every WHDload game that's available that you can actually download from here. Basically just put in that, we can choose one of these games, like IK Plus for example. It's an absolute cracking game. Just double click it to start. Use your D-pad and you're away. So quick at launching, it's pretty impressive. Oh. Obviously, oh look at the Pac-Man in the background there. So to escape games you just press F10 to take you back, which is pretty cool. And you can go through this again, just find the game you like. So much to choose from here guys, it's impossible to go through everything. There's loads of demos, there's loads of games. There's lots of music packages, there's lots of sort of music included as well, which I'm not going to play because of copyright issues, but there's so much to see here. It is a fantastic package. The only drawback I find is that it took an absolute age to actually download onto my USB stick. But once you set it up, it's actually pretty impressive. So guys, before we finish the video, I'll sort of show Wolfenstein and probably Duke Nukem running on here. And see how they actually perform. So when I'm playing this, you obviously need to use the keyboard. I don't know why you can actually change that in the options, but it seems to actually be running pretty cool. Oh. Actually need to get myself a better keyboard, I think, to actually play, but it seems to be playing pretty well.
Let's rock. Up my ride.
Okay guys, that was a brief look at the A-Mini-Miga sort of workbench package that's been made available. You can download it for free. I'll leave the links in the description along with the video that's got a little bit more information than I've provided here if you're interested. Just beware, it does take a little bit of time to actually set up initially, but once you've got it set up, it is actually pretty good. The package here is very, very impressive indeed. Anyway guys, thanks for watching the video. Please like, subscribe, and we'll catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.